touch me in the pouring rain, and the moment.
Homelessness. I chose this as my topic because no matter where you go, you will always see this. And some of the reasons people go homeless is because of these. 1. Lack of affordable housing. 2. Unemployment. 3. Poverty and low wages. Or number 4. Some kind of illness. Common places you'll see homeless nowadays are at the exits of freeway ramps, also downtown, and of most recently, some 200 homeless have been using the light rails as temporary homes. Something that may not be known about the homeless is often these people have full-time jobs. They just can't afford a living space. I'm going to be doing an interview on a lady by the name of Mai Zhang. Mai Zhang is a community representative at PPL. PPL is Project in Pride in Living. She's good for my documentary because she herself was homeless about 10 years ago, and she went through the program at PPL. I have a few questions for you.
Okay.
And so when I was speaking with Sherry earlier, she had mentioned that you worked with a group that is currently who helps people who are currently experiencing homelessness. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what was the name of that group? And can you explain what they do?
Okay, so it is Project for Pride in Living. We call it PPL. What our main mission is housing and also employment readiness. In order to get any of those, stable housing is, the key fundamental base.
Mm-hmm.
And then in order to keep that, you would need some sort of employment. That's why we also have the employment readiness, where we can help all of our participants get into jobs or search for jobs.
All right. And what do you do with the Project for Pride in Living to help?
So I used to be a participant. I used to be homeless, and I got housing through them, and I also went through some of their programs and training, their workshop, and now I am part of their board. So I am the community representative.
Cool. And if you don't mind me asking, can you tell me a bit about your experience with being homeless?
So for me, it's because I had a chronic health issue that happened. So I became disabled, and I worked over at McDonald's, which was overnight. And it was hard for me because of my disability. So then I eventually had to quit. And it went downhill. Then I became homeless with my 2 children. I did go to the county for some help, and when I was staying at the shelter, there were people from PPO, staff who works there, who go out to shelters and try to help the homelessness or get them to apply to see if they are a qualified participant to get into their housing. So the one I was on was the long-term homelessness program. And that's how I got housing with them.
All right. And then something with homelessness is being homeless. What do you have been homeless? What do you feel is the biggest stereotype towards the homeless?
That we just want to be homeless. That we really don't want to do anything or change. I feel like that's the biggest stereotype, or, nobody knows that there's a backstory. Because with my disability, I look perfectly normal on the outside. Mm-hmm. But internally, I'm not working functionally and not normally with my heart and lungs issues. Mm-hmm. But I feel like people would judge you like, no, they just lazy. They don't want to work. They don't have goals.
All right. And then obviously with your disability is why you had been homeless. What do you feel are some of the reasons that other people would be homeless?
I know a lot of them had to do with either mental disability or drug addiction, because I do know, like, PPL have housing that helps with, addictions and whatnot. We do have, I think it was our past breakfast and fundraising. Not this one, but a year before, we had a participant who was an addict and got housing and got treatment and got support from PPL and was able to get out of that addiction.
All right. And then, what resources would you recommend?
For homelessness, or
yes, for those who are homeless.
There are a lot of resources that are out there, especially with the state and the county. But definitely look for nonprofits. I had a friend that I made who was homeless, but she was over at a different housing, a different shelter. I think it was St. Mary. And they required her to, if she works, to save 30% of their income and not pay rent or anything. She did get into one of PPL's housing. She and I actually signed our lease on the same day, and we became friends with the support of each other because we knew we were in a certain situation. She also had boys, and she had mental disabilities, and support with your community, or support with people that can relate to you, and then get outside help from non-profit programs or anything that actually just help the homeless person kind of gain ground, and then they can start building.
Right.
Does that make sense, or too much?
A few ways you can help the homeless are: go to your local food shelf, such as Second Harvest Heartland, and donate some food that you have left over. Or go to the Salvation Army and bring any clothes that don't fit, and donate that to them. Or joining a rally with the Minnesota Coalition for the Homeless, and to help build homes for the homeless. Or you can do as I did, and go through your old clothes and then hand them off to somebody in your local neighborhood that then gives to the homeless or people in need.